You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5.
Coming up, new numbers on red tide. This year's total number of manatee deaths is already greater than all of last year's.
Plus, we'll tell you what led to the drug arrest of a Pee-wee football coach in Manatee County.
And an update on 2 phone scams in Sarasota. We have tips from police right now on Good Morning Suncoast. And good morning, early risers. Glad you're with us on this Tuesday morning, August 21st. I'm Ray Collins.
And I'm Stephanie Webb. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. Also up with us this morning is the fabulous John Scalzi with your Tuesday forecast.
Yep, ready to go. We have some showers out in Gulf waters, kind of similar to what we had yesterday. And again, like yesterday, over land, we're not seeing a lot of action. I don't think for the drive time this morning, we're going to see much in the way of any kind of rainfall. We'll save that for this afternoon, where again today, I think we'll see some scattered showers and thunderstorms build, mostly in inland areas. But unlike yesterday, I think maybe they'll be a little further apart, spaced a little further apart. So while yesterday everything was kind of isolated pretty much east of the interstate, I think today we could see a few more showers west of the interstate. Temperatures generally running in the low 70s, inland mid 70s closer to the coast. Complete forecast in a second.
All right, talk to you soon. Thank you, John. First alert traffic now at 5:01. There's the maps in Manatee County. Nothing to concern yourselves with so far, unless you want to look out there east of the interstate on 64. Otherwise, pretty quiet. Little blip there on 41 southbound as you cross over Bee Ridge Road. And then South County map, a little red there on the 681 connector if you leave I-75 southbound and head toward 41. Otherwise, all clear at 5:01 this morning. Stephanie?
All right, Ray. Well, red tide continues to invade Suncoast waters, and there doesn't seem to be any sign of when this current state of emergency could end. The city of Venice held a special meeting on Monday to answer questions about exactly what is causing this toxic bloom to stick around. Now, the biggest source of confusion so far has been with what's happening in Lake Okeechobee with the green-blue algae there and the red tide happening here on the Gulf Coast. Now, scientists continue to say that the two are not related, but they did say that pollution in our waters is increasing the effects of naturally occurring red tide.
There's all contributing factors which were touched on in these meetings. You know, everything from natural fertilizers to, you know, picking up after your dog.
Now, the City Council plans to come up with a concrete plan to help reduce pollution throughout Venice and Sarasota County by the end of this month. In the meantime, Mote Marine is asking for more money from the state for more research into exactly what is causing the bloom to be so strong this year. Additional state funding to conduct more research on this is expected.
Opinions about the extent of red tide are different across the Suncoast. We showed you pictures yesterday of the dead fish that washed up on Longboat Key, but some think the red tide is not quite as prevalent on Longboat compared to other beaches in the area. One business owner says visitors should go out to the beaches to check conditions for themselves.
It's not as bad as what I'm hearing because I'm here and I can see it and I can smell it. So some days it's a little smelly, some days I don't smell it at all.
A spot check of Lido Key yesterday found an almost empty beach. Mote Marine Lab says more recent tests report heavy dead fish, intense respiratory irritation, and dark water in that area. New numbers from Sarasota County on red tide. The county's Twitter page says almost 150 tons of fish and debris have been removed from Sarasota beaches and boat ramps. The county is also monitoring the status of the canals. We'll take action there as well if needed. They're asking the public to help by using the free See, Click, Fix app to report any red tide issues in Sarasota County.
Also new this morning, not a good year for manatees here in Florida. Florida Fish and Wildlife says there have been more manatee deaths so far this year than all of last year. A total of 540 manatees have died through August the 12th, compared to 538 in all of 2017. Now, experts are blaming a cold snap that happened at the beginning of the year, as well as the red tide in the Gulf for those high number of deaths. In fact, FWC says almost 100 of those manatee deaths are directly linked to that toxic algae bloom. Manatee County is looking for volunteers to help clean up some of that red tide. They're hosting 2 red tide cleanup events this week. The first one is going to be tomorrow at the south side of Palmasola Causeway, the other on Thursday at Perico Preserve. Now, both events will go on from 7:30 until 9 o'clock in the morning. Cleanup materials will be provided, but just make sure to bring clothes that you don't mind getting wet. And for all of the latest coverage on all of the red tide outbreak here on Suncoast, as well as answers to some of your most asked questions, just head online to mysuncoast.com.
Developing overnight, a local Pee Wee football team coach is behind bars this morning on drugs and weapons charges. Deputies pulled over this coach, Edgard Thylor, last week after they say he ran a red light. They say he claimed he was delivering football equipment to other coaches, but deputies say they also found several bags of marijuana and a loaded gun inside the car. They arrested Thylor and charged him with possession and intent to distribute and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. An interim leader from that Pee Wee team says they are aware of the situation and are taking necessary action.
It's disappointing because, again, a lot of kids in this area look up to Edgar. He's been around this area. Was a star football player in high school. Now he's giving back and coaching the kids.
A team spokesperson says they are unsure if Thylor is banned for good without having a conversation with the league's other leadership first. And back in 2013, we found out the coach pleaded no contest to a possession of marijuana.
New this morning, Sarasota City Commissioners voted to spend close to $35,000 for an outside investigation of clerk and auditor Pam Natalini. Now, last year, Natalini, who's held the job for the past 8 years, received over 20 negative evaluations, accusing her of creating a hostile work environment for her staff. She'd had more bad reviews in years past as well. Now, as for the investigation, Natalini says she will not comply with any investigator due to the way she feels the situation has been publicly handled. Well, recently we've seen several phone scams hit the Suncoast. The most recent claims to be a detective with the Sarasota police. Now, that one claims there's a warrant out for your arrest, and if you don't pay up, they're going to send someone out to arrest you.
SPD wants you to know that this is a scam, how you can avoid being a victim. Marla Spence joins us now live from the City of Sarasota's Police Department near Payne Park. Marla?
Hey guys, yeah, that scam that you mentioned is what's been calling many Sarasota County residents. Police here at the Police Department in Sarasota say that they are investigating and they're taking any reports of these scams, but of course they want residents to be alert and aware and also take the proper steps to not becoming a victim. A spokesperson with Sarasota Police Department tells us there are many phone scams sweeping across the Suncoast. They say they can't control them, so they want people to be mindful that there are people out there trying to take advantage of them. Now, if you receive a phone scam that you're unsure about, it's recommended that you just hang up. A few ways to spot a phone scam: if you hear a line that says you've been specifically selected for an offer, you'll get a free bonus if you buy, you've won a valuable prize, or this investment is low risk and provides a higher return than any elsewhere. Now, the SPD spokesperson says according to the Federal Trade Commission, these are all red flags.
We just had a phone scam reported to us in the last week or so from an elderly woman, and thankfully she was smart enough to realize that this was a scam, and she asked the right questions and actually hung up on them and then called our department to let us know what had happened.
Now, the right questions that you should ask if you suspect a scammer calling you is by asking who's calling and why. And if you are calling, why are you asking to pay me to pay, and why am I confirming my account information? These are all questions that you should be asking. Most times scammers will have your account information and they're just looking for you to say okay so they can go ahead and charge your account. And Sarasota Police Department says you should always be asking these questions whenever you receive a phone call that might be a little questionable. Reporting live in Sarasota, I'm Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you, Marla. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, why President Trump is concerned he could face perjury charges if he testifies to the special counsel.
And later in the hour, we're going to tell you what one Florida high school is doing to beef up security after a shooting at a Friday night football game. But first,
it's 5:09. Here's a shot outside our studios. You know, John Scalzi has several boxes. They're not cardboard boxes. They're boxes he checks. And today he's checked the rain box.
I have, actually. Yes, I have. And, you know, it's kind of a judgment call because certainly on the commute to work, you're not going to see any rainfall. On the way back from work, most of you won't. But unlike yesterday, there will be a few more showers west of the interstate, I think. So I've checked that box, but I don't think it's going to be a big deal. As far as the airport hub delays go, don't see any. FAA says everything's running on time. Complete forecast details coming up in a few.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Letting my friends online know I was quitting kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it. You can too.
For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
There's nothing like this trail in Alabama. It just goes from the northern part of the state to the southern part of the state. We see all kind of different terrains, great value, great fun. We've been coming for 18 years. We started off with a group of 8, grew to 12, and grew to 16. And we love it because where else can you get world-class golf courses with world-class accommodations? To be able to play these type of courses in this environment, and the difficulty keeps us coming back over and over and over again.
So you've decided to go to college. That's cool. So pop quiz. Which is a better way to earn your degree? Commute to college and fill your gas tank, get stuck in traffic, drive in bad weather, try to find a parking space, walk a half-mile to class, or learn online at Independence University. In the park on a bench, on the beach on a towel, or on your couch with your kid, your campus is wherever you want it to be. You don't go to college. College goes to you. That's independence. That's Independence University. You schedule classes around your schedule, and all your supplies, including a brand new laptop and tablet, are included with tuition. At Independence U, you'll learn from professional instructors with real work experience. You'll get personal support in school and employment assistance when you graduate. Get your degree, but keep your life. That's independence. That's Independence University. So if you're really smart, you'd call now.
Call 1-800-965-2704.
Independence U, for an independent you.
Call 1-800-965-2704.
At Boys and Girls Clubs, it's not just about trying new things.
Tanya, come here.
Learning the right steps.
2, 3, 4.
Or making contact. It's not just about exploring the future. It's about helping them build it. It's about making a connection. It's about proving every kid and teen who enters our doors has what it takes. Great futures start here.
A promise was made. A promise that hit the beaches of Normandy. A vow that captured Iwo Jima. A contract that weathered Tet. A pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq. An IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
74-degree air temperature with a dew point value coming in at 73. We have a heat index, which is the same as the air temperature at 74, though as we head through the afternoon and temperatures start to rise, we'll see that heat index up around 103, 104 this afternoon. So again, another warm one on the way. We'll look for only a slight chance at a shower during the morning hours, but by afternoon, as we develop a sea breeze and that sea breeze starts to build, we'll up the rain chance to about 30%. Now that's a little less than yesterday. We've had some slightly drier air work its way in. The high pressure ridge that was located just a little to our north has sunk a little further south over us, so that's a suppressive quality as well. But it's minor, and we're really splitting hairs between 30 and 40%. It'll be a lot like yesterday. Showers and thunderstorms will form mostly inland, but because of those factors I just mentioned, you might see a little more of a random nature in the development of the showers and a little more activity a little bit closer to the Gulf waters as opposed to right along the interstate corridor. So yesterday we saw most all the showers east of the interstate. Northport saw a few that were a little closer to the Charlotte Harbor area, but for the most part everything was east of the interstate. Right now everything's very quiet, and that's the way it's going to be throughout the morning. We're watching a trough low pressure, another trough low pressure. We've had a lot of them this summer, located just to the north of us, kind of sinking south. And as that happens, this high pressure ridge is going to be pushed a little further to the south. Tomorrow, our winds will come increasingly out of the south, and eventually They'll be due west, and when we get that westerly wind flow Thursday and Friday, it'll take most of the rainfall that we see develop this afternoon, and it'll focus it over on the other coast so that we stay a little bit less active during the afternoon hours on Thursday and Friday. We'll get our showers in the morning instead of the afternoon. Southeast wind coming in at about 10 knots today. We'll look for a light chop on Bay and inland waters. Today, 90. Tomorrow, about the same. 30% chance of showers today, 20% tomorrow. Then we'll get that little bit of a wind shift, and the pattern will change. Morning showers near the coast, followed by afternoon showers inland. That'll be true both Thursday and Friday. And then I think we return once again to an easterly wind flow and get those afternoon showers and thunderstorms on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, John. Let's take a look outside and check out your morning commute so far. Starting off in Manatee County, not too bad out there. Roads are looking good so far, no real delays or anything. Then in the top half of Sarasota County, again, roads are looking good as well there. And if you're heading a little bit farther south, 75 and 41, smooth so far this time, no real bumps or delays. It is 5:16, and that is your first alert traffic. Well, new developments out of Washington, where President Trump is concerned that an interview with special counsel Robert Mueller could be a perjury trap.
And as ABC's Arlette Saenz tells us, a top White House lawyer has also now become an inside source for the special counsel.
After months of saying he'd like to talk with Robert Mueller,
I would love to speak. I would love to. Nobody wants to speak more than me.
President Trump is revealing his concern about an interview with the special counsel, saying it could be a perjury trap. The president telling Reuters he's worried Mueller could pit his statements against those of others who have testified, like former FBI Director James Comey. He says, even if I am telling the truth, that makes me a liar. That's no good. He also declared he could run the Russia investigation if he wanted to, saying, I can go in and I could do whatever. I could run it if I want, but I decided to stay out. He added, I'm totally allowed to be involved if I wanted to be. So far, I haven't chosen to be involved. I'll stay out. And the president with a new attack, tweeting Mueller is disgraced and discredited, and calling his team a group of thugs. This comes after reports that a top White House lawyer has become a key witness for the special counsel.
Was it a mistake to have you speak without limits to special counsel Mueller?
White House counsel Don McGahn on MSNBC not responding to questions about his talks with investigators. The New York Times reported McGahn met with Mueller's team at least 3 times for a total of 30 hours, more than any White House staffer interviewed. Don McGahn's attorney is trying to reassure the White House about these interviews. His attorney wrote an email to the president's legal team, which was described to ABC News by sources with knowledge of it, that specifically said McGahn did not incriminate the president. Arlette Saenz, ABC News, Washington.
Consumer news now. Your next smart speaker or smart watch could cost more if more tariffs are approved by the White House. The Consumer Technology Association says tariffs under consideration could now hit several types of electronics, potentially raising costs by a collective $3 billion for consumers. They say devices include speakers, smartwatches, and other smart appliances, as well as other Bluetooth-enabled products like wireless headphones and fitness trackers. No word yet on if or when the proposed tariffs could be approved.
Well, Southwest is raising the price for its early bird check-in on some of their flights. It's going to go from a flat fee of $15 per person each way to now either $15, $20, or $25. That fee depends on the length of your flight and the popularity of the early bird check-in on that particular route. Now, that early bird service started way back in 2009 and initially just cost $10. The switch to the new pricing is going to go into effect on August the 29th.
I have found that so many flyers will use that, it sort of diluted the effectiveness.
Yes, it's like everybody's jumping on the early bird, and suddenly it's like, well, if you're all doing it, it's not really early.
Exactly.
Right?
All right, 5:19 right now.
It's still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast. Why Google is being sued for tracking users' location history without them knowing.
Next half hour at 5:30, why Wells Fargo is dropping an Attorney General candidate's campaign account due to her advocating medical marijuana. Those stories and much more coming up. But first, let's go live to Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, that's beautiful out there this morning.
Pretty shot there. Centennial Park area, a little Ferris wheel down there. Always looks kind of foggy up there, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. A little cloudy over there. Oh, you're watching Good Morning Suncoast right here on ABC 7.
Don't hide it. We know that sometimes emotions just get the better of you, especially at the Honda Summer Spectacular event. And we know getting a deal on the Honda Civic, a 2018 KBB.com Best Buy, can be quite liberating, especially when this stylish Honda Civic comes with Sport Mode.
Yes! Yes!
Express what you're feeling at the Honda Summer Spectacular event.
I'm happy you're happy.
Visit your local Honda dealer and test drive the Honda Civic today.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Give kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. Yeah. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason. Because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Me, pick me. Oh, come on, man. Oh, man, I love technology. Hey, yo, check out my new phone. Look at this right here. For years, the DeSoto Club has needed improvements. Join me and Boys and Girls Club of Manatee County as we raise money to build a brand new facility. It will be bigger and better, just like it was 40 years ago when I attended. Invest in kids, build great futures.
I witnessed him have 2 heart attacks in ICU. He went through seizures.
We'd much rather have Aaron like this than dead. A lot of parents don't have that luxury.
He can't talk. He can't walk. This is a condition Aaron will live with for the rest of his life because he abused prescription pills.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
If you want to find out what Stephanie wants for Christmas, go to my website. Yesterday,
she could pitch in.
Yesterday, she announced what she wants for Christmas, and it's under my website there, Ray Collins, ABC7 on Facebook.
What is it? It's $1,300 and 20 inches tall.
That's a tease right there.
All right, there you go.
523. Please check out our pages when you get a chance. Stop by and say hello. We'll always respond to you. 523 right now.
All right. Nice. Check this out. It is the Tampa International Airport Police accepting the lip sync challenge. And very well done. The department posted this video on their Facebook page. It has now gone all kinds of viral. Look at this guy.
Looks like him. Looks like Pitbull.
Rocking it, right? I'm saying.
Same barber as Pitbull.
I know. They share a barber. Well played, guys.
I guess they got some free time at the airport these days.
I know. Well, you know, sometimes it's a good effort. It's good PR. You know, have a little bit of fun. You know, make them look more human, and you know, it's good. It's good for them sometimes. Well, Google, here's something that's not good, being sued over tracking users' location even when you turn off the location history.
Details in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, Google's trouble over tracking locations.
A lawsuit against Google for storing location data when it said it was and could become a class action lawsuit. Google all but admitted the practice last week.
Well, the suit argues it violates California privacy laws.
A mobile company has been caught faking a photo shoot.
Huawei released a commercial for its Nova 3. A couple is seen taking some beautiful selfies with what appears to be the phone.
But the model in the commercial posted this picture on Instagram showing the selfie was actually taken with a high-end camera. The Chinese phone maker points to a disclaimer in the ad that says it shows product characteristics.
And a computer glitch forced London's #2 airport to go old school.
Workers at Gatwick Airport had to use whiteboards to let tens of thousands of passengers know their flight information when the digital screens went dark.
And still no delays. Those are your Tech Bites.
Tech Bites, sponsored by Lyrica.
To most people, I look like most people. But on the inside, I feel chronic, widespread pain. Fibromyalgia may be invisible to others, but my pain is real.
Fibromyalgia is thought to be caused by overactive nerves. Lyrica is believed to calm these nerves.
I'm glad my doctor prescribed Lyrica.
For some, Lyrica delivers effective relief for moderate to even severe fibromyalgia pain and improves function. Lyrica may cause serious allergic reactions, suicidal thoughts or actions. Tell your doctor right away if you have these, new or worse depression, unusual changes in mood or behavior, swelling, trouble breathing, rash, hives, blisters, muscle pain with fever, tired feeling, or blurry vision. Common side effects: dizziness, sleepiness, weight gain, swelling of hands, legs, and feet. Don't drink alcohol while taking Lyrica. Don't drive or use machinery until you know how Lyrica affects you. Those who've had a drug or alcohol problem may be more likely to misuse Lyrica.
With less pain, I can do more with my family.
Talk to your doctor today. See if Lyrica can help.
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
Everything all right?
Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery?
Sure.
We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
It's been about a month, and I can honestly say I've seen the change in me. I went from being a depressed girl who didn't want help to this happy, caring girl who loves helping other people. I just really hope that people that went through what I went through get the help that they need, because their story is important and they are loved. Thank you so much for everything.
Are you a soccer mom or dad? Regardless of their age or experience level, when your kids play soccer or any other sport, there's one person on the sideline who is key to help recognize and seek medical care for sports-related concussion. It's you. You need to know the signs and symptoms of concussion, and you need to act if you think your child has been injured. Remember, when in doubt, sit them out. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/concussion. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 70.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
Hi, I'm Janelle Hale, founder and CEO of the National Breast Cancer Foundation. No one should face breast cancer alone. When I was diagnosed 36 years ago, there was no internet, and I had to make a decision with little information. Early detection saved my life. It could save yours too. To learn what every woman needs to know about breast cancer, visit nbcf.org/hope.
You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5:30.
Coming up, yet another twist in that Colorado family murder case. We're finally hearing what the father says happened to his family.
An alligator in Hilton Head, South Carolina killed a woman who was walking her dog. Why police believe that she was attacked.
And what the state is doing to help firefighters lower their risk of getting cancer. We have those stories plus your Tuesday forecast right now on Good Morning Suncoast. And good morning to you. It is 5:30 on this Tuesday morning. I'm Stephanie Webb.
And I'm Ray Collins. John Scalzi someplace to tell you all about the Tuesday menu. Good morning, John.
Good morning to you all. Yeah, I think we're looking pretty good this morning. And once again, for your morning commute, I think we should stay dry on area roadways. There are some showers out in the Gulf, and that's where they'll stay. They're not going to be moving closer to the coastline. They're kind of being brought on by a general easterly wind flow, enhanced by sea breeze, by a land breeze this morning. So all in all, I think we're in a stable situation until we get till about 2, 3 o'clock this afternoon. That's when we'll start to see our temperatures, which are right now in the mid-70s inland, upper 70s close to the coast. We'll see these temperatures climb up to near 90 once again. And when that happens, we'll start to see some showers around. So I've checked the rain box on the drive time forecast. That's for the trip back home this afternoon. Back to you.
Thank you, John. Checking the roads. First off, Manatee County. Nothing to speak of right now. All clear if you head out the door right now. Farther south, there's the scene in Sarasota County. Little blip there on Mound as you travel from Orange to Osprey to the 301-41 intersection. And then farther south, only red I see is between Venice and Nokomis around 41. Looks like in the northbound lane. Stephanie?
All right, thanks, Ray. Well, now to Colorado, where prosecutors have now charged the father who confessed to killing his pregnant wife and children. Now, a close friend of the family said that she has her suspicions and wasn't surprised to learn of his arrest. Nicole Atkinson says she watched Chris Watts pleading for help on TV, but in person, he seemed like he could care less that they were gone.
The last time I talked to him, he said, "I just want to cry." And I looked at him and said, "Why aren't you?"
Now, in yet another twist in this case, Watts told police it was his wife who killed their daughters that night. According to an arrest affidavit, he says he told his wife that night that he wanted to separate, and shortly afterwards saw her in a baby monitor strangling their youngest daughter. He says that in a fit of rage, he then killed her and hid their bodies. Police don't believe the story. He's facing 9 criminal counts, including the death of their unborn son.
Right now, Nashville remains on edge as police continue to search for what they're calling 2 cold-blooded killers. Investigators say it's possible they're linked to at least 4 shootings that left 3 people dead in recent weeks in Nashville. Police say 33-year-old Bartley Teal and 30-year-old Jamie Sarantonio were shot and killed in the parking lot of a local bar. 3 days earlier, Kendall Rice was also robbed and killed on his way to the bus stop. There's the first 2 victims right there. Residents say this level of violence has never happened before there.
I've been in Nashville all my life. I have never gotten up every morning to see 2 people shot, 1 person dead, 3 people shot.
Investigators say they are following up now on a number of leads and have reason to believe the cases are indeed connected.
A woman is dead after an alligator attacked in South Carolina. Witnesses told police the woman was walking her dog near a lagoon on Hilton Head Island when she was attacked and then pulled underwater. Emergency responders found her body a short time later, and she was identified as 45-year-old Cassandra Klein.
It appears that the alligator grabbed the leash instead of the dog, and it was some sort of a basically tug of war with her trying to get the dog back via the leash. And in turn, the alligator drug her and the dog into the water.
Now, deputies believe that the alligator that was responsible for that attack was found and later killed at the scene. As for the dog, it somehow was not hurt at all in that attack.
A follow-up now on the accused Fort Myers cop killer who has ties to Sarasota. Wismer Desmarais, seen here, pleaded not guilty to killing Officer Adam Jobbers Miller a few weeks ago. The state attorney's office says they plan to seek the death penalty. In the meantime, Desmarais has been moved from the jail in Fort Myers to the jail in the Naples area. The Lee County Sheriff says it's to prevent any allegations against them. The suspect's father lives in Sarasota.
Over to Palm Beach now, where one high school is increasing security after a shooting at a football game left 2 people injured. Additional officers were on campus at Palm Beach Central High School. The district now is changing some of their football game start times this week, and they're now only planning to allow clear bags inside the gates to the stadium. No one will be allowed into future football games after the third quarter kickoff. Officials say they also plan to enhance security in and around other future school events as well.
None of the changes that we're making would have helped with Friday. These are just protocols that we were going to create as part of our normal safety protocols and creating a new reality for our entire school safety experience.
School officials and law enforcement plan to meet later on this week to evaluate their response to this shooting and figure out what other changes need to be made in the future.
A Florida Agriculture Commissioner candidate says that Wells Fargo is asking her to close her campaign bank account due to her affiliation with the medical marijuana industry. Democrat Nikki Fried helped shape laws and regulations of cannabis use, sales, and distribution in Florida. So now she says Wells Fargo asked her campaign staff to close her account even though medical marijuana is legal in Florida. She says Wells Fargo is out of touch with most Floridians.
Outdated federal laws allow for this sort of discrimination. Politicians refuse to act, and big banks like Wells Fargo do everything they can to block progress.
A Wells Fargo spokesman says the bank could not comment directly on the account, but that it's Wells Fargo's policy not to knowingly bank or provide services to marijuana businesses or for activities related to those businesses.
Well, as if being a firefighter wasn't dangerous enough, a new study from Miami University shows that firefighters have a higher risk of getting cancer than other jobs. Now, that's due to cancer-causing chemicals that linger on their equipment and their bodies once they leave work. Now, to help with this problem, the state has funded a grant for $1 million that will give these kits to more than 400 fire departments all throughout the state. Now, those kits include common household cleaning supplies and should be used within an hour after a fire to remove toxins.
You know, if we can take their probability of contracting cancer to make it the same as you or me, simply by just embracing better cleaning habits of their equipment, this is just, we're, introducing better practices into a profession that saves the lives of Floridians every single day.
And the good news, multiple stations throughout Sarasota and Manatee counties have received or will soon receive this very same kit.
More than 1 million voters have already cast ballots in next week's primary election as early voting continues now in all 67 counties across the state. The Division of Elections says more than 860,000 voters have mailed in their ballots already. Nearly 160,000 have voted early at respective polling stations so far. Races range from congressional to gubernatorial on down to school board races. Sarasota County's election supervisor has released the vote by mail and early voting turnout numbers. So far, Sarasota County is reporting almost an 11% turnout. So far, that is. Early voting continues through Saturday. If you have any questions about where to vote, we have a full list on our website, mysuncoast.com.
Developing overnight, protesters in Venice are hoping to stop the development of a hospital in their neighborhood, even though Sarasota County planning commissioners have already approved of the rezoning project. Now, some residents don't want 50 acres of land on East Venice Avenue rezoned from residential to commercial, all to avoid a new Venice hospital from being built on that land. Some of the group's biggest concerns are traffic, safety, and drainage issues, as the current road would have to be widened to add more lanes.
This doesn't make any sense on so many levels. It's just silly and stupid.
I mean, it's devastating. Like, we've started looking at houses if this goes through. Like, we don't want to be here. It's not, what they're doing is not right.
So far, over 1,000 residents have now signed a petition against that rezoning. Now the next move to go in front of the Sarasota County Commissioners next Tuesday for further talks.
Talk about bad timing in this hot weather, but the city pool in Northport is closed today. The city says the pool's pump lost power and is closed for repairs. Contractors are assessing the malfunction. In the meantime, you can go to any other aquatic facilities operated by Sky Family YMCA at a $2 admission rate. Meantime, the Lido pool is back open today after a week of being closed due to the effects of red tide. The pavilion and concessions will also remain closed, though, through the week. So the pool's open, concessions are closed. Could be a problem with kids. Bring your own snacks.
Yes, bring snacks.
City officials say the pool will reopen with normal operating hours from 10 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. Still ahead, tips to avoid falling victim to a string of recent phone scams across the Suncoast.
And are you looking to change up your diet? Well, we're going to tell you about the benefits of going vegan. But first,
it is 5:39 right now. Here's a peek outside our studios. As far as the bus stop forecast goes, here's John Scalzi.
Yeah, so it looks pretty good for us. We'll have today, I think, quiet conditions for the pickup time at the school buses with a temperature of about 77 or so degrees. On the way home, it'll be 90. You'll have plenty of sunshine, and there'll be a few scattered showers along the I-75 corridor, but really it'll be later in the day when that'll really pick up. As far as recess today, I give it 10 out of 10 chance for an outside recess. Complete forecast details coming up in a second.
According to a new survey by U.S. News & World Report, 3 of Alabama's top 4 hotels and resorts are part of the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail Resort Collection. The Grand Hotel Marriott Resort in Point Clear, the Battle House Renaissance Mobile Hotel and Spa, and the Renaissance Birmingham Ross Bridge Golf Resort and Spa. Hey, we didn't invent Southern hospitality, we just offer more of it. Visit rtjgolf.com/resorts to find out more.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed.
Isn't it? Why
is heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy.
I have questions.
Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to drugfree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
My name is Haley. I have Fragile X syndrome. I work with Chartwells at Einstein's and FAU. I like being up front and interacting with students. The students are very nice and very hungry. Having a job is a big ticket for independence.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
There was this big bruise on my friend's face. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator. There was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
It's tough to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. Elder abuse is a crime.
So see the signs. Stop the crimes.
Stay connected to your clients and new customers using ABC7 Digital Media Services. Our team of professionals provide a wide array of digital services to help you get the most out of your website. We specialize in building and helping you maintain the most effective digital solutions for your business. It's vital that your online presence stands out, so our experts will equip you with the best resources available. Trust ABC7 Digital Media Services to give you the right tools to grow your business. Now your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
74-degree air temperature. We have a dew point value coming in at 73. They're pretty close together. Again, high relative humidity to start off the day. That will help take us in the afternoon to a feels-like temperature of about 103. Once again, a sweltery afternoon. But we will see a chance at some showers to help maybe break the heat just a little bit during the later part of the afternoon and into the early evening. Rain chance at about 30% today. They will, like yesterday, be focused mainly in inland areas, but I'll tell you, the motion of the storms today could be a little bit more erratic than it was yesterday, so we could see a few more showers building to the west of the interstate, as opposed to yesterday when most all of them were east of the interstate, except for the one shower near Northport. We have across the region this morning, again, a lot of showery activity out in Gulf waters, not much over the peninsula itself. It's pretty quiet. We'll have lots of sunshine to start the day, and I think your morning commute should be relatively dry, right straight through the morning into the afternoon. Now, as we head into lunchtime, it is possible that we could pick up a shower near the coast as we start to transition from quiet conditions to those inland showers. High pressure is still the dominant weather feature, general southeasterly wind flow. What changes over the next several days is that a low to the north, a trough of low pressure, pushes this high southward. As that happens, we start to see our winds turn in response, first southerly tonight through tomorrow, and then I think eventually by Thursday we'll have that westerly wind that will develop. That will tend to take showers and thunderstorms, bring them in off the Gulf during the morning hours, and then kind of push everything toward the other coast during the afternoon. So most of the afternoon and evening should be pretty quiet, and consequently our temperatures will go up just a little bit. Mostly sunny skies, late afternoon storms. Calm in the tropics still, not seeing anything going on there. In fact, it's eerily quiet across most of the tropics. Here's your rainfall futurecast, and again, it shows most of the rain falling in inland areas, but you can see the motion is kind of sporadic today, a little bit better coverage across the region. There are the tropics, and I'll tell you what, it is very unusual at this time of year to look across the entire expanse of the Atlantic and not see much in the way of any kind of cloud cover whatsoever. So pretty remarkable. Southeast wind coming in at about 10 knots for you boaters. We'll look for a light chop, and over the next several days we'll look for pretty quiet conditions. And then as we get into Thursday, we'll shift the winds around, so we'll get the morning showers near the coast, afternoon showers well inland. I think that will lead to some warmer days as we head into the weekend, temperatures climbing up a few degrees. And then on Sunday and Monday, we return to the east wind and those afternoon showers and thunderstorms. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, John. Let's take a look outside and check out on your morning commute with this first alert traffic. So far, Manatee County still looking pretty good right around this hour. Not too bad there. In Sarasota County, the top half running pretty smooth as well. Little delays right there on Clark Avenue, but nothing to really be worried about. If you're headed farther south, 75, 41, both are still looking good at this hour. It is 5:46, and that is your first alert traffic. Well, recently we've seen a string of phone scams hit the Suncoast. Now, in the latest one, the caller claims to be a detective with the Sarasota police who says there's a warrant out for your arrest.
More about this scam making the rounds now from Marla Spence, who's live outside Sarasota Police Headquarters. Marla?
Guys, that scam you mentioned is what many Sarasota County residents have been receiving over the past few weeks. Sarasota Police Department is investigating, and they're taking reports of any calls, but they want residents to be aware. Now, the Sarasota Police Department tells us there are plenty of scams sweeping across the Suncoast right now. They say they have a tough time enforcing phone calls and phone scams, so they want you to stay mindful to avoid being a victim. If you receive a phone call that you're unsure about, it's recommended that you just hang up. An easy way to spot a scam: if you hear the caller say you've been specifically selected for an offer, won a valuable prize, or have to make up your mind right away, those are all ways you can spot that scam. An SPD spokesperson says the police department will never call you asking for money or threatening to arrest you, adding one way to spot a scam is what time you get the call.
The hours that telemarketers should be calling you is only between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. And so if you receive a call, especially outside of those hours, that's another red flag that it can be a scammer. Just do due diligence, you know. If it doesn't seem right, it probably isn't. Go ahead and hang up, make a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission. You can do that as well. Get on the do not call list.
And remember never to give out your name or personal information. If you do send money to a scammer, remember that it is hard for detectives to track down that scammer. So once that money is gone, it is a very hard time trying to get that money back. Reporting live in Sarasota, I'm Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
In this hour's Health Smart, a vegan diet is nothing new, but is this popular trend really the healthiest long term?
A closer look now from reporter Kim Hutcherson.
Chances are you know someone who is vegan, who neither eats nor uses animal products. Many people experience benefits from this style of eating, which could be part of the reason the number of faithful vegans is on the rise. In the UK alone, there's been a 350% increase in veganism since 2008. The plant-based diet that shuns meat and dairy can have a positive impact on your health if done properly. Within the first few weeks, new vegans usually notice an energy boost. As long as you're staying away from processed foods and carbs, your gut health can improve too. After several months, that decrease in processed foods has been credited with clearing up acne. On the downside, the vitamin D you've stored from consuming meat is being depleted. Make sure to counteract this by taking vitamin D supplements, especially in winter. And finally, for those who decide to be vegan permanently, remember to consume foods rich in calcium or take supplements. This will keep your bones strong as you get older. For today's Health Minute, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
Well, in more health news, here in Florida, we've had 62 reported cases of the mosquito-borne Zika virus this year, even though there are no active areas of transmission. The Florida Department of Health says the cases are all classified as travel-related, meaning that people were infected elsewhere and then brought the virus into the state. Now, that disease is particularly dangerous to pregnant women because it can lead to severe birth defects.
Entertainment news, move over Michael Jackson. There's a new act with the best-selling album of all time, and they're not new at all. The new champ is the Eagles, their greatest hits from the early 70s. Yeah, the Recording Industry Association says over 38 million copies have been either sold or streamed. The title could change again, though, because Thriller and the Eagles have been going back and forth for the top spot for years.
I love me some Thriller. That's a tough one to beat.
Would you prefer that one?
Yeah, I think so. But I do like Hotel California. That's one of my all-time favorite songs.
Is that right?
Yeah.
My least favorite.
Oh, what?
I like Don Henley on his own.
Oh, okay.
The Eagles also hold third place with Hotel California. Producer says move. Speaking of album sales, the death of Aretha Franklin has put her back on the charts. Her 30 Greatest Hits album is number 7 on this week's Billboard album chart, her highest charting album in 46 years since 1972, Amazing Grace at number 7. This is Franklin's 7th top 10 album of all time.
All right, well, finally, check this out. This little ball of fur giving new meaning to the phrase fat cat in an animal shelter in Illinois. Okay, this is Bruno. First of all, let's talk about why he was standing up right there. He's a Russian blue cat. It's a breed that usually weighs about 10 pounds tops. But this little guy packs on a solid 25, and he works it. Now, he is what is called, Ray, a polydactyl cat, meaning he was born with more toes than usual. And seriously, because of all these extra toes, he can stand right up on his hind legs. Like, he could be a party favor if you adopt him. The shelter says that they've received adoption applications from all over the country for this cat, even as far away as Australia. Bruno the fat cat.
Achoo, I would say.
Stands on his hind legs.
Nice, nice trick. Here's a nice shot of New York City, the Empire State Building there in the foreground. You're watching Good Morning Suncoast on ABC 7.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny'd been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. You're gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh, yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah.
Cancer doesn't run in my family. That really was the farthest thing from my mind. I've been an athlete my whole life and I work in sports, so my mindset was just, let's fight. So our stories are all unique, so whatever you're going through, ask questions, get information and be involved. Don't ignore the signs, join the fight. I'm Tony Beasley and I'm a stage 2 colorectal cancer survivor.
My name is Stephen Jaffe. The law firm's name is Farmer Jaffe. One of the beautiful things about Julius is he's always smiling, and it becomes infectious. The fact that Julius has a disability has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of work that he's done. Just a great person you want on your staff.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Welcome back. It is 5:55, and here are some of the top stories that we're following for you on the Suncoast today.
Sarasota City Commissioners say they'll spend up to $35,000 on an outside investigator to find out why there are so many complaints against Clerk and Auditor Pam Natalini. She's held the job for 8 years.
Plus, fire stations in both Sarasota and Manatee counties will soon be receiving special kits, helping to cut down on cancer-causing toxins that can often be found on their bodies and firefighting uniforms as well.
Governor Scott has appointed a new judge to the bench in Sarasota County. Dana Moss worked for the Public Defender's Office. She replaces retiring Judge Judy Goldman.
And now over to John for a quick look at your Tuesday forecast.
Looks pretty good for us today. I think the main thing is that later on this afternoon we'll see showers have a little wider coverage. They'll be a little further apart, so perhaps we'll see a few more showers closer to the coastline this afternoon. Mostly sunny, inland storms calm in the tropics. Back to you.
All right, city commissioners in Sarasota were at it until about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, but it's a whole investigation issue with Natalini.
Paying an outside investigator to investigate the city clerk and auditor.
That's right. We'll have all the details of that early morning investigation and meeting. The news continues. Good morning, Suncoast, right here on ABC 7.